everybody. We are live on Facebook with the first official episode of Ask Anik. My name is Joe Ennis, and welcome to the episode today. We are going to be talking about work and the topic of work. What does it mean to balance your work-life balance? How should we view work? And maybe, tackle a few things that some other internet entrepreneurs have said recently that maybe we have some opinions about. So welcome to the episode. Welcome to Ask Anik. Today's the first official episode. Welcome, Anik.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me to host you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just jump right into things. Today's topic is work. The idea of working, just in general, working a job. First off, I wanted to ask just kind of what are your opinions on work? What you're kind of saying. What are your opinions on work? How should people view work? Should it be something that, we look at as a civic duty, or should it be something that we honestly strive to enjoy and love? Or should we consider it just something that we have to do? What are your opinions on what work is?
So we can definitely talk about that. First, I just want to say, if everyone's watching this on YouTube or listening to it on any other podcast episode, right. This is a new series within the Fighting Entrepreneur podcast, and we're doing it every Friday. It'll go, and it's just because I find myself giving better answers when I'm interviewed instead of like preparing for a talk. And we do those episodes too, and so now we'll do this. If you want to watch it live, we'll stream it every Wednesday inside of the Inside My Head Facebook group. So you can find that Facebook group, and so you always have a couple days head start and watch it live. And eventually we're going to have all the doodads here so we can see people's comments and engage with people, and maybe one day even allow people to call in. That would be fun.
That would be sweet.
Okay, work. So I don't think it's anyone's civic duty. I certainly don't think it's something that everyone has to do. And I certainly also don't think it's something that everyone's always going to enjoy. Listen, there are jobs that have to be done that aren't like roses and rainbows. But I think with jobs, okay, if you're going to have a job, do it justice. Do the job. And I think what's happening in the world right now is that everything is a dichotomy right now. Everything is two sides. If you look at anything, heck, Elon Musk suddenly has two sides. Yeah, right. You say the word Elon Musk and you've immediately created a divide. True. So with work, this has become work bosses are evil. Or the other side, which, I guess I'm on, which is like, no, we're not, it's okay.
Work bosses aren't evil.
Yeah. Work is work. Listen, if you're getting a salary, you're getting paid. How would you feel if you went somewhere and paid for it? So you go to let's say someone, I don't know, goes to a massage place and pays for a massage, and it's a 90-minute massage, and 60 minutes into it, the masseuse is like, you know what? My hands are just hurting.
I don't want to do this
anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore. So, I'm just going to go sit over there and chill. And then you go, hey, I paid for 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then the masseuse is going to turn around and go, you are so evil. My hands hurt. You would make me work through a hurting hand? And it's like, yeah, I guess that's the expectation, right? And I actually think at work, it's easier because you have days off
right.
So we're hypocrites. So we want to pay for services and make sure that service is being delivered to us at top notch. But when we are being paid for our services, we all of a sudden have all these problems. And so I think if you're going to work and you always work hard. That comes from my dad. I think no matter what you do, I have had a lot of jobs I did not like. But I worked hard at them. I just did because that's just how I go. And that's also why I have succeeded so much, because I've never had this attitude of someone else will do it for me, or that I don't, so now you've got this message propelling, which is you should enjoy your work. Well, actually it goes one step further, because this is the one that makes me smack my forehead. Work should be fulfilling. Yes, you're right. Everyone wants to now work for a company that's changing the world or saving the world, until they realize how hard it is to work for the company that is changing the world or saving the world. So now you want to work for the company that is changing and saving the world, but isn't requiring you to work too hard. But you also want to make top dollars, so you don't want to get penalized for the fact that that company has to hire more people because you don't want to work as hard. Do you see where it's
absolutely
have your cake, eat it too? But this is where I'm going with this. you got to pay your dues. So absolutely. The problem is I think people are starting to think that the minute they think I should have a job, that very minute that job should be vice president of a company with super fulfilling roles. And, that's not how reality is. Right? Like people ask me right now all the time, how's it being a dad? And I'm like, it's amazing. But that doesn't mean there wasn't a time at 3:30 last night when my daughter was screaming her head off where I was like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a fun moment. But that's a part of being like, so that's the thing I'm trying to get everyone to understand is like, I'm not saying people should, so obviously immediately after listening to this, people are going to say, Anik's a slave driver, he hates his employees.
He doesn't like them.
He uses his employees to like make himself rich and like, I like throw baseballs at them while they're working or some shit. No, it's not the case at all. I actually think you could you worked for me.
Yeah, I did.
I
had a great time.
Yeah, super reasonable. I'm fun. I like to have a fun environment. But yeah, if fun's going too far, but guys, we got to get work done too. I don't know, man. Work hard. Yes, you should enjoy. If you hate what you're doing, like if you dread getting up in the morning, you absolutely need to look at something different. Like that should never happen.
Especially if it's affecting like your actual like physical health.
1000%.
Yeah.
There is a job out there that will pay you, that will help you stepstone into where you want to go, that you don't dread. 100%. Now, the other side of it, just because you're not getting up every morning saying, yay, today is going to be the bestest day ever, and I'm going to just love every waking moment of everything I do and everyone I meet. And like, well, then I'm sorry. You're just setting yourself up for massive disappointment.
Yeah, 100%. Also, just in like general, like life is just not like that. You don't wake up every day and just expect your life to be perfect. Like, why should you expect that of work? And I think also a lot of people think that bosses wake up with that mentality. And they're like, I need to, be in the same shoes my boss is in. Yeah. But that's not true either.
Dude, it is so hard to be a boss. And I'm not asking for, so here come all the attacks. I'm not asking for the violin or sympathy or anything like that. I don't care for any of that. It's hard. People don't understand it. So here's how it works, okay? 95% of the world falls into the employee bracket, or 90% or whatever. I don't make another number
like
up. 76% of all facts are made up, so there you go. That's a fact. So let's say 90-10. 10% of the world falls in the boss. So it's safer to say shit that supports the 90% and not the 10%. That's all. Right? Yeah. Because they're the majority and they don't really have a reason to understand. Here's a perfect story. My wife. So when I met her, she was the head of HR of our India office for Lurn. Okay, that's how I met her. And I remember a conversation we had. I still remember it because it just really pissed me off, right? So we were not really dating at this point, but we're like talking. She messages me and says, we used to provide car service to our employees to take them to the train station, which is like, for our size of company, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
I never realized that in India, that car service didn't have air conditioning. And that if you want air conditioning, the service was twice the cost So she messages me and she's like, we need to have, like, the employees are asking for air conditioning. I was like, we don't have air conditioning? She's like, no. I was like, crap, let me talk to the head of office. He's like, we don't have budget, man. It's double the cost. I go back to her. I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't do it. It's twice cost. I don't have the money for it. But hey, we provide a service. Like most companies don't even provide that. And we got into a fight, and she literally said, you don't care about your employees. And I was like, how dare you? Like, I'm actually offering a service. So I just got in trouble with my employees for offering something I should have never even offered. I didn't have to, but now I'm offering it, and it's not enough. I'm more. So, whatever, right? Years later, we talk about it. Now she's seen it the other side. So she's being married to me. She sees what it's like to have employees and to have all that responsibility. And she says to me, I remember a few years ago, she came to me, she's like, I am so sorry. I was like, what? She's like, I never thought about it from your side. Like, I see it every day now. Like, I don't get to disconnect at 5 o'clock or at 6 o'clock or at 7 o'clock or at 8 o'clock or at 9 o'clock or at 10 or at all, right? And so, again, not asking for the sympathy wave. It's just easier to vilify the minority because the minority will always be less loud than the majority. So I just think, it's not that easy. And are some bosses evil? Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
But are some employees really, really shitty?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Right. So
I know I was at times.
No, I don't think I remember ever you being shitty.
Thank you.
Honestly, I don't think we've really ever had that at Lurn because we interview so much and so well. But I'm just seeing this message. I'm seeing it on social media. It is concerning to me. I'm seeing TikToks where they're proudly teaching one another. Do you get paid average at work? Well, then why should you do more? You should do average. If your boss calls you at 5:02 p.m., you should flip them off.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not how we work. It's not human society. Yes, if your boss calls you every day at 10:30 p.m., well, you address that shit. But if it happens one time, if your company happens to desperately need you because something went wrong, don't you have enough loyalty to just help out one time? Like,
right.
So the messaging has got me real. And that was why that one person, I know you're going to ask me.
Well, yeah. Actually, this is a great segue into that. So we are going to talk about a TikTok video that Gary GaryVee, put on his TikTok. We actually have it, so we're actually going to roll it now. Check out that video right now.
Oh, we can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Fucking bosses piss me off. Bosses get employees and as if like they're there to serve them. It's fucking crazy. The entitlement by small business owners and managers is obnoxious. These are fellow human beings. You have people that own companies that I expect my people to work the way I work. I'm like, are you giving them the same money? The fuck are you talking about?
So, Anik sent me this video in kind of a rage the other night. Now, I don't know what else was building up, whether it was, sleep depravity and, whatever it was, but what are your thoughts?
Okay. So to start, I'm a fan of GaryVee. I like GaryVee.
Me too.
Well, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying I'm a fan of GaryVee, but I like GaryVee. I respect GaryVee. I respect the shit out of GaryVee because I actually spoke on stage with him at a Tony Robbins event before he was GaryVee. That's the crazy thing. So I've watched him literally from and it's just, that guy earns every ounce of his success. Nobody would ever, and it's like, he does a bunch of things I don't ever want to do. And hence
he works extremely hard.
Kudos to you for your success. This video was the first time he's ever said something or made a video that just disappointed me beyond belief because he is just feeding into this. And I really felt, right? And I would say this to Gary's face because I don't have anything. Feels to me like he's panhandling. Feels to me like he's cheering the audience on. He's getting on the side of what he knows that it's just not fair. Why are we constantly? So first of all, there's one part of what he says that I agree with. Like, if I were ever to go to any of my team members and say, you should work as hard as I work, that's just stupid.
Right.
And if a business owner does do that, you're dumb. But most business owners don't do that. Okay.
I've never heard any.
I don't think that's common. Okay. I think the business owner would say, I can see someone saying you should work harder. I could see someone saying you should make your deadlines. I could see someone saying you should be more of a solution oriented. Because I've actually had people tell me, they'll come to me constantly for solutions. And I'm like, dude, you should really figure this out. And they'll be like, well, whatever, it's not my company. And I'm like, well, whatever, then you're not my employee. Mm-hmm. Because I don't pay you just so that you do what I tell you to do. I want you to go out, innovate, and come up with solutions. Just the tonality of his in that video and the disgust he shows, it's like you're feeding into some shit, man. Don't do it. You have a voice, you have an influence. And what you're doing is just setting up this dichotomy again. And you're turning two people against two groups of people against each other that really need to be harmonious. This is not good. This just isn't good. And thankfully for me, it doesn't impact me because I love my team. I know my team. And, but yeah, you put that out there. What you're doing is you're simply feeding that nonsense into a younger generation that hasn't had a chance to experience the world, to build their own. Right? It's like I can see what he says and draw context and apply my experience and block its influence. But the younger generations can't do that. So they immediately think that I, the boss, am evil. My TikTok that I put up, that I said on the TikTok, why I don't have happy hour with my team.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well.
So you worked with me. Mm-hmm. I certainly hang out with the team.
Yeah.
I do cultural events.
Yeah, we actually went to get drinks one time.
Yeah. So it's not like I will never do any of this. The point I'm trying to make is that when you worked with me, my goal wasn't to be your friend. Mm-hmm. And I believe through and through in my deepest of hearts that doesn't serve you either. Mm-hmm. I got to push you. I got to challenge you. Otherwise, how am I going to help you grow? So I put that video up and everyone's like, you just want to suck every penny out of them. And I'm like, go watch the video. I actually speak to the fact that I want them to grow. But it's become so like, unless my video's message was, hey guys, I wake up every morning and beat myself with a brick because I just want to be there for my team.
Yeah.
I don't want to make any money. I don't want anything for me. I give it all away. I am just all about my team. I want them to have all the vacation they want, all the freedom. They can have my car. They can have my house. They can have my child. Unless I say all that shit, I'm evil.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not reality. Like there's a relationship. It's a give and take relationship. It is in the end.
And again, to your point, there were a lot of times where we did hang out. I specifically remember you threw a Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
You know, we had a great time. I remember specifically going out to drinks with the entire team once, and you paid for everyone. Yeah. Like, I know you did that kind of stuff, but I also know what you mean. Like, a lot of people do expect, you know, or they want a boss that's like close friends and buddy with them. I think because they feel like then they can get away with more stuff.
Exactly.
Which is the problem.
Exactly. And when I went to have drinks with and I paid for everybody, I promise you, I did not get drunk.
No, you did not.
I
never. Like, I don't even know if you got anything.
I don't remember. I may have a drink or two, but I know my limits.
It was like a dinner. It wasn't like out late. To clarify,
it does not serve either party well. It does not serve, it's the worst thing that you can do. It makes it really difficult to run a company, and it creates problems. And I think people want that until they get it, and then they realize it ain't exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have been, you know, a sole proprietor for a few years now, and I've worked with friends, and even in that short amount of time of having them as contractors, I've kind of thought the same thing in my short time of being like, this person is kind of getting away with stuff because they know that I'm going to be nice to them. Yeah. And like, whenever I drop the hammer on them, sometimes they'll come back kind of like laughing, like, yeah, right, you're joking. And I'm like, no, I really need.
Or they get more angry. How dare you talk to me like this?
Right. Yeah.
How dare you say this to me? I thought we were friends. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so, yeah, it's a dangerous, there was another comment on the same TikTok where one person said, anyone commenting against this advice is either 15 or has never ever led a single team in their life. And that was the most honest, truthful comment, because I bet you most people, now there were CEOs and people in those comments that were responding saying, I have a team of 200, I go to happy hour with my team all the time. And I respect that, and I'm glad they're making it work. But if I'm a betting man, I still feel given enough time, they're going to come to my side of this argument within the next few years. Because what they're doing, if they are becoming friends with their employees, they're going to realize soon enough that doesn't work. One of my own very close friends who runs a company who just 2 years ago told me I was wrong. He's a very dear friend of mine. And ask him today, and he's like, sorry, dude, 100%, you were right.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I think what's important is just making sure there's a line. Like, we're not saying don't, you know, be nice to your employees and maybe don't don't not hang out with them or anything, or like, you know, get along and be friends, but don't, you know, get so close to them that it becomes an emotional thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In terms of correction.
That's absolutely what we're saying. I am absolutely going to hang out with my team. I know a lot about them. But at the same time, like, there are times when I've exited left stage. Like, the team might be 4 drinks in and ready to go out to the next bar. That's my exit. Yep. Right? That's when I like, okay, we're going to get into a territory now where I think they would have more fun if I'm not there. And I certainly just don't need to be there. So that tomorrow I can still keep it, like I say, we're still running the team. Again, look at head coaches of any major sporting team and tell me that they go out and doing.
I think the only night they ever do that is the night they win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, when it's over. Yeah,
when it's
so
all
I'll tell you
over.
what, when I take this company public, I will get shit-faced with everybody. There we go.
Okay, so let's actually move on a little bit to kind of another thing. We're just hitting on Gary today, but next week it'll be someone else, so watch it. He also put a post up on Facebook, which in the recording you will see if you're watching on YouTube, but we actually don't have right now for the live. But basically, to summarize, one of the sentences he said in this Facebook post is, I'm worried about the great resignation. You know, you have no idea what the great never applying in the first place is going to look like. And then he said, I'm with the kids. They're like, F this. I'm just going to go do TikTok and brand deals and YouTube videos. And he said, I think there are a lot of people who are willing to make $57K a year and live within their means just to make YouTube videos about ... corn. And he basically, in stating that like the great resignation is because people have found social media an easy platform to take on, I guess, to a degree.
So, okay, I want to be fair to Gary. He didn't say that, I don't think. It's his team.
His team? Okay, sure. We'll
I think, right? Because
we're going to hope.
At his size. But he does say stuff like this. So I know he believes in this. He says just create content,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera.
His goal is to make 100 pieces of content a day.
Gary, brother, hats off. That's how I said I respect you, but holy shit, that's a lot. Okay, so let's break that down. First of all, $57K a year is a lot.
Yeah, I looked it up. That's about $500 is about 100 to 300,000 views on a video.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's the amount of energy, time, effort it'll take to get a following big enough to make $57K. The problem, it's a lot. And some will do it. Absolutely. Masses won't. Masses need a job. It's just the way things work. I don't know how else, like, unless the government starts giving out stimulus checks, which, ta-da, I'm sorry, that doesn't really work well. We just tested it. And, okay, so fine, 57K is easy, let's just say, on social media. What the heck he says live within your means. 57K is not means anymore.
No, not at all.
It just isn't. You know what? Back-to-back quarters of 10, 15%, which is what the inflation really is. 57K is nothing. I'm sorry, like, it's hard. Okay, I shouldn't say it's nothing. First of all, we live in a privileged country. 57K in a different country is everything. So I just, like, that message, right? I want to say, like, when you have his type of reach, every word you say, man, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that's misusing that responsibility. That is not easy to do. It's really hard to do this. And I think better yet, how about we teach people to do something that they do enjoy, you know what, if I could talk to young people, I would say, instead of getting any job, random job, tell me this: how is your current job helping move you towards your future that you dream of? That's why, this is my opinion now, okay? I don't live in that. That's why I think people are so dissatisfied with their work. Because I've done jobs that I absolutely hated and loved. Why? I didn't like the job, but I was doing it because it was my stepping stone to this. So I didn't care about the short-term pain. I think people get this problem because they get into a job that they feel like they're trapped in for life, and that's when it turns into resentment and hatred. So I wish the messaging was more like, hey, let's figure out where you want to be and what you want to do, track out the path, and then make sure that your current situation and employment or income strategy is part of that path.
Yeah, kind of like the dress for the job you want, but instead kind of work for the job you want a little bit.
Or you don't want a job, great, you want to be a social media influencer. Well, you know what? If you want to be a social media influencer, how about we get you an assistant job to an existing social media influencer? How about we get you a video editing job for an existing social media influencer? So, like, instead of working at Starbucks, which is making you, not making you happy, let's make you work twice as hard and earn same or less for a social media influencer, but every day that grind has infinite ROI for you because you're learning something and you're not just doing it for the money. Like, there you go. Like, that's, to me, an inspiring message that should be taught versus, hey, just don't apply for anything at all and go make 57K on social media talking about corn.
Yeah. Do you think, this is just coming to mind, I don't even have this in my notes, but do you think you probably do, maybe you've even seen actual evidence of this, do you think a lot of the world is moving towards this remote working situation, which I'm down for? Now, if I'm honest with myself, and this is kind of the question I have, do you think a lot of the world is really excited about remote work because they feel like, as maybe an employee or even as a boss, they don't have to work as hard, or they could get away with, kind of doing less because they're not being watched?
Why do you get excited when there's a substitute teacher in school?
Oh, because you don't have to do anything.
That's what it is. It's a harsh reality. I'm sorry. And again, here I go getting attacked by, oh, you hate employees. No, I'm just common freaking. Listen, man.
It's true.
Okay, if I have to work or not work, I'll choose not work. Me too, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll do it. Now I'm not saying everyone doesn't work from home. I mean, we are running mostly virtual company. I love my people, but I don't mind if my Lurn team's watching. I'll tell them like, you probably don't work as hard, as if you. Well, we don't get things done as well.
Yeah,
unless
not as quick.
if we were in person.
Lunch breaks are longer.
I also feel like it happened so abruptly, so quickly. We have not had a chance, and I'm speaking on behalf of an employee and a manager or boss. I don't think we've had a chance to really figure out what working from home means to us. It just literally, come on. We were fine and dandy, lucky.
Yeah.
We were probably 20 years away from this being a reality. Mark Zuckerberg was still having to figure out this meta thing, and we were going to work from our virtual, why don't they have legs, by the way?
For the virtual reality?
In meta, yeah. Why don't we have legs?
Well,
in
it depends
meta?
on what you're like playing.
All right, sorry,
But
it's completely.
I could talk about the metaverse
All right.
for a long time.
It really
Future
bothers
episode.
me. Like, if I could just ask Mark Zuckerberg one question, it's like, I just want my avatar to have
legs.
legs. Like,
It depends on what you're playing. Some of them have legs.
floating around. So anyways, so we didn't have an opportunity to process. And all one day we went. So I've had this funny conversation, and if one of my team members who I had this conversation with is watching, love you, don't get upset. This is how the conversation went. I really, really, really miss coming to work. I really miss the human interaction and the people, and I miss it. And me saying right there, I'm like on Zoom or on audio, I'm like, great, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Come on in. I'm here. I'm here every day. Porvik's here every day. Andrew's here every day. Lisa's here every day. We're here every day. Come on in. Oh, yeah.
I got a thing.
It's like the thing with the
Not
thing.
feeling great.
And like,
Might have COVID.
And I got to take my pet rabbit in for, this thing tomorrow. It's like, but that's a great idea.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I'll come by.
I think, Thursday I can come for like 12 to 3. Like 12 to 3 Thursday. And to me, in my head, I just go, dude, don't even bother. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? Or the person will be like, well, you're right. Like, I want to come in, but I was just thinking, right? Like,
All
like
my stuff's here.
that travel time. My
equipment's here.
I got my perfect setup on my computer. And in my head, I'm just like, all right, then work from home.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't feel that connection when I work from home. Well, bro, I am a human on the other side. Like, I know I own a company, but I am a human, and I cannot solve that problem for you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to figure out what you want. I've given you both choices, but you can't complain on both of them.
Yeah.
Right? And so here's how this is going to play out. This is my guess, and so far I've been proven to be right. Porvik is evidence of it. I told him a year ago how this is going to go. It's all driven by the big companies. The big companies are a pain in our butts. They bend so quickly and they do all these things, and then the smaller businesses like myself have to
kind of adapt because your employees want that.
So they're all calling their team back. That's happening. Google, Microsoft, all of them that have once said, we'll never work on site again and go home. They're all trying to say, yeah, come on back. Okay. So, but those employees are like, no, not going to do it. And I don't disagree. Listen, I actually think I'm actually on the side of the employees here. I don't think we should be back in the office full time, 40 hours a week. I don't think it's required. I don't think it's necessary. I sit in the middle. So soon those employees can be like, well, I quit. I'm going to go work for XYZ company.
Because they work from home.
Because they work from home. But slowly the big companies, they carry a lot of pull, right? You have a lot of sweet stock options. You have a lot of amazing benefits that the smaller companies don't offer. So some of the team members will be like, some of the employees will be like, all right, I'll go back. As that starts to happen, the smaller businesses are going to go, ha, we require it too. Because now we're no longer scared. See, smaller businesses, if I put that rule in tomorrow, people will be like, whatever, I'll go work for XYZ. But once those XYZs start doing it, it backtracks. So a year ago, what I said was going to happen because this thing took off and the big companies were offering any money. I mean, I've heard of people leaving and tripling their salary overnight. Like that kind of stuff leads to inflation. And I said that's going to impact their public earnings, which we're seeing.
Yep.
And then they're going to go, spending too much money. They're going to do mass layoffs. And we're there now. And then it's going to kind of turn. The tides will turn. And they haven't yet. I mean, still, I think I read this morning, two openings for every one person looking for a job. There's 11 million openings and 4.5 million people looking for a job right now. So it's like, it is totally in your control if you're looking for a job. Like you have control. But I'm a little worried about the economy right now, and I'm worried about where that's going. So all of this is going to question this whole work from home thing. We are never going to go back to what it was. Never. That's gone. That's done. And it should be done, and it's done. We're going to do a hybrid. And we don't understand. Hybrids require discipline, and we as humans don't have that.
No, we don't.
So that's the challenge.
Especially when no one's watching, it's a lot harder to have.
That's the challenge. Yeah, dude. I mean, we uncovered people, and not at Lurn. Thankfully, again, I love our culture at Lurn. It's just we don't get this. But another company I was invested in, we found one employee who had 2 jobs, full time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, So if this kind of stuff keeps happening, then business owners, they tighten. And then like the ones who do great and do good, they get hurt, right? So I got a check from another employer. Someone called me 2 days ago and said, "Is this person still working for you?" I was like, "No, they left like 8 months ago. Why are you asking?" And he's like, "Oh, because we just found out that they're working for us and 2 other companies, and I was curious if it was 3 other companies, including still working for you." I'm like, "No." So like 3 paychecks.
That's nice though.
Yeah, it's
for the little bit.
It's interesting.
Good
so
for you.
People get creative, and so free market systems adapt to accommodate it.
So this is a good segue to my next kind of topic. I wanted to hit on this briefly because I know you don't know a ton about it, but I just wanted to, and we've kind of talked about it here. But that's the point of this episode. I kind of consider remote work almost a benefit at this point. I really enjoy working from home. Jobs that say that I can work remote do entice me more than ones that don't. But I think, and so in the same vein, I think there's a lot of other things that employees are demanding now that they weren't before. In terms of benefits, whether it's healthcare, 401k, dental, whatever it is. Yeah. And I'm not going to go into specifics or anything about, anything that Lurn is doing, but there's a movement, and I brought it up to you a few weeks ago, called r/anti-work. So this is a movement that was on Reddit. In fact, in 2020, it was the biggest Reddit page on Reddit that Reddit put it on the front of their site as one of the default that you could go to, r/anti-work. And it started as their motto was food, healthcare, and homes for all wages was kind of their idea. But then they recently, and they never took any press. The press would constantly be like, "Can we talk to you about what you mean and how you're possibly going to accomplish this?" And they always were like, "Nobody talk to anyone because we're going to do it, but we're not going to tell anyone how. And we're going to do it by not doing anything." And so it's the best. It started around like 2019, 2020. It's actually been around since 2013.
What's it called again? Just for everyone.
Anti-work.
Anti-work.
r/anti-work.
Creative name, guys.
It really popped off in like 2019, 2020 as it started where people would post videos or screenshots of them texting their boss like, "You suck, I quit." Kind of stuff. Like, "I don't get enough. I quit." And they'd kind of go viral and people would support each other. But again, they were kind of, their goal was to get everyone good wages and benefits with less work, just in general. But, good wages and good benefits for whatever job. Then finally, one individual decided and agreed to go on Fox News show. I forget the reporter at the time.
Was it Tucker?
It was not Tucker.
Oh, that would just be fun.
It would have been hilarious. But basically, the guy or the girl, I forget, couldn't explain how they were going to do what they were going to do.
Sure.
The guy was like, "I want to be a philosopher. Currently, I'm a dog walker, but I believe that people shouldn't have to work."
Which is work.
The guy actually said, he was like, "So you are working?" And he was like, "Well, I got to pay the bills." And then the Fox guy started laughing. But I actually want to spin this, not to just ask like, actually, they also changed their motto now. Now their slogan is "Unemployment for all, not just the rich," is their slogan. But I tell you all this not to I don't want your opinion necessarily. Well, I want your opinion straight up.
Sure.
But I want to ask you a few questions about it. Specifically, are there, and we've kind of talked about it here today, but is there any area where you maybe empathize with just, a normal employee in today's day and age in terms of, like we've talked about, inflation, as well as how expensive just, things like rent are becoming? And is there any area where you actually, you understand at least the original part of the movement of, we want to make sure we can take care of ourselves kind of thing?
Hell yeah. I mean, of course. I believe fully in the fact that if you have a job, you should be able to cover your bare minimums, right? But where I'm getting kind of skipping on words right now is that how can that be only the responsibility? Like, how can that, if one of my team members came to me and said, I'm going to do my best, but I have to follow within a certain thing, right? Like, I can't just say, well, you're living in this neighborhood, so your costs are higher. So it just doesn't work that way. It's not scalable to do it that way. Also, we don't have unlimited funds at a business. So it's, at some point, see, here's what happens, and here's what is happening. There is you ever seen Atlas Shrugged? Have you heard of Atlas Shrugged?
I've heard of it.
Okay, so it's a great book. I watched the movie version. It's like 3 long movies. They're really fun, good movies. Atlas Shrugged is when the world's creators, innovators, and entrepreneurs, and the wealthy, as we would say, they get so fed up of being vilified that they just quit. So what we don't talk about, when we talk about entrepreneurs getting rich, what we don't talk about is all the risk they took. What we don't talk about is, for example, for me, the 3 years in a row I was bleeding money, running out of money, but my employees always got paid. My employees even got their annual raises, but I was actually like almost bankrupt. But I didn't go to any of them and say, hey, can you take a half cut? But then all of a sudden, year 4, when I'm making money and I'm making a ton of money, it's the automatic assumption that I should divvy all of that out in bonuses and that it is not my money, but it is the money of the employee. Well, so what's in it for the entrepreneur in the end? Because if it's going to be like that, the entrepreneur is going to say, well, the risk isn't worth, right? Like if I told you right now, hey, put $5 down on this table, we're gonna run a fun little betting game, and the best you can do is win 4. The worst you can do is lose all 5.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Are you going to do the bet with me?
No shot.
No, right? So we have that. That is a very simple analogy of, unless you keep that conversation favored in a way that you would say, okay, I put my $5 down, we collapse. Okay, so going to the conversation of employees being able to manage their bare minimums, absolutely. Okay, so what do I do for that? In my company, we offer by far the best health insurance I can get access to. By far.
Oh, dude, I remember when I worked here, I took so much advantage of that.
Yeah.
It was the best.
It is the best I'm allowed to get, and so I'll just talk numbers without naming anyone because people don't realize this. So when at a business, when we hire someone, it's about 22 to 25% of their salary is additional benefit cost. So if I just hired someone for $100,000 a year, I am paying $25,000 a year in additional cost. They don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't recognize that. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. If I hire someone that has a family, it's a family of 4 or 5, medical insurance, we're not allowed to ask, and I never do, and I don't care. I genuinely have never cared. If that employee says, hey, I'm going to put everybody on our healthcare plan, and because I cover, I think 70 or 80% of the health, that's about $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month out of the business's pocket. Now, in this case, in this business, that's my pocket because I own the company fully. So to me, when you ask that question, my answer is, I do care. And I'm already doing a lot of stuff because I care. I'm giving, we offer life insurance here. We pay for our employees' life insurance so that if something happens to them, their family gets like 2 years worth of salary or 3 years worth of salary. That's not a common benefit for a company of our size. We offer all kinds of other benefits, right? Actually, our benefits plans are so good that when we're hiring people, I'm like, I don't even know how to explain them. You got to talk to HR. We have good plans though.
Yeah.
So when other things happen, But at what point do I say, I don't have the ability to help that? Like, it sucks. I don't know what to tell you, but let's figure. So I'll always be down for a solution, but there always will be a point where it's like, sorry, I can't. But what happens now is as soon as you say, sorry, I can't, everything you did do is immediately forgotten.
Doesn't matter.
And you're instantly going to get yelled at for being evil.
And it's usually because something came up that the person did not prepare for.
Yeah.
And then they just turn to the business owner or the boss or whoever's giving them those benefits and want them to fix it.
Yeah, and remember, the business is the irony of it, and this is, I wish people would just understand simple economics. The business can turn around and do that. Well, the business has to pay for it somehow. So the business is going to increase their prices. And so you are going to be paying more for products and services from all the businesses that you are buying from because their employees are doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's what inflation is.
Yeah.
That's welcome to inflation. Like, that's how it works. And we're in the middle of it and it's not good.
Yeah.
This collapses usually. So it's tough though, man. I mean, it really is. I'm going to tell you, like, we were talking about housing. We were talking right now, and I said, I'm freaking out because interest rates are going up so high. I am scared of how people are going to live, right? But we also, but there were economists and experts saying this very thing 2 years ago when stimulus checks were being cut, right? So it's like, that's why that movement of like, it just doesn't work. Like, I don't see how it works, right? Like, I think I am very capitalist. And so that's just how I've been. But yeah, I think the answer to your question is I do truly, genuinely care, and I do the most I absolutely can, but I cannot do everything. I always make this joke. I say I was class president, 7th grade. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was awesome. Yeah, really. I swept that other guy. I don't even remember his name.
Gone.
He doesn't even exist.
You suck. Just kidding.
I really don't remember what it was. So if you're watching, I'm sorry. I promised 4-day school week. I promised free vending machines and MTV in every class.
MTV?
MTV.
Did they do all those things for you guys?
Hell no. Man, I was sitting in the assembly making these pitches and like I was giving my speech and the principal's there. I'm just saying that's what happens with that's the anti-work movement.
Yeah.
It's me standing on stage presenting how I will give a 4-day school week. Like, I'm going to impact national policy
I'm gonna give
on
a 4-day
schools.
School week as a 7th grade president.
Yes.
One
school.
I ran for student council. We had a student council. And I ran for student council, and my only running point was that every year we would have a school-wide putt-putt tournament. And I did not win. That was my only point.
Yeah.
My friend ran that he would get us vending machines for our school, and the school principal told him never. And then in a year, he got them. We don't know how, but he got them. It was crazy.
Wow.
That kid, yeah.
Good for
Josh Merriman, great job.
Josh, run for president, man.
Dude, honestly.
Good for you.
Okay, so again, the anti-work movement, especially now after most of the people that believed in the original cause have now left and made a new group because now anti-work is literally, I'm not going to work. And
Hey, listen.
Well, this is my question. If you were going to talk to those people and encourage them and give them advice on what to do, what would you say?
Can I be honest?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
I wouldn't talk to him.
Oh, okay. Well, if you were going to talk to the group that maybe had some sort of motivation.
And I don't say it in a mean way. I know that comes off that way. I am such a believer of like, do what, like, okay, hey, I'm
That's
wrong.
what you want to do? That's
Maybe
what
I'm wrong. If you want to do, go do it, man. Show it to us. I don't believe it's going to work. I don't believe in what you're doing, but hell, if it works, right? So 2 years ago when comp packages started going through the roof and I was like, this isn't sustainable, this isn't right, this isn't good. I was like, who the hell cares what I think? Market says what the market says. You either go along with it or you don't go along with it.
Yeah.
So to the people who were genuinely seeking my opinion on that, I would simply say it doesn't work. They're basically saying communism/socialism.
Well, what about in terms of just, the idea we just talked about of fair wages and, looking towards your business for the correct benefits and things like that?
Yeah, so fair wages, in my opinion, unless it's determined by the open market, is a collapsing system. It's socialism. Because when you try to hard determine fair wages, we get that $5 problem.
Mm-hmm.
where the person being thought about the last in that conversation is actually the person who controls everything. I hate to say it, but it is the entrepreneurs that have a lot of influence. They create the jobs. So if you take if you incentivize that entrepreneur to take the $5 bill off the table, you collapsed. And so that's your red line.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and the only way to protect against that is let the market decide the numbers. It's kind of a sucky way to do it, but it's the only way that's worked in the past.
Yeah. So if someone can figure out a way that's going to work, then you're willing to listen to it.
100%.
We haven't seen it yet.
Shit, I love being wrong. I'm wrong like all the time. So I love being wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and let's do it. But at the same time, if you tell me, hey, Anik, you have to take all the risk. So on the years that your company loses money, you have to lose all that money. But on the years that you make money, you can only have 10% of it. That's the first day I say, I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why would...
Yeah. And that's not vindictive. It's just like, well, it's not worth it. That's not a bet. I don't like to go to Vegas and bet my money. I never do. So I don't. So Vegas doesn't get my money. That's not like, I don't have ill feelings towards Vegas. I just don't like that bet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Few last questions here. We're going to turn a little less heavy. I just want to bring up some recent weekly topics or, kind of timely topics. First off, since the last time we talked, since our test episode, Elon has acquired Twitter.
He hasn't really acquired.
He hasn't acquired it, but they've accepted his deal.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I don't think it's going to happen for some reason.
Still?
I'm a little bit skeptical. A lot of stuff has to go down. One thing I would tell Elon, but who the hell am I to tell anything Elon, but this would be the time you go quiet now. You don't poke the bear.
He hasn't talked a lot yet.
He said something recently about how he's considering a pay-to-play for government people. And like the last people you want to be like poking right now is the government, because they can stop this. They can find some convoluted... stupid way to do it. My thoughts are fair market, free open market. He made an offer. They went through their channels and he gets to own it. I mean, I go to the store, I pick up an apple and I say, I will buy you and I own you. It's the same thing. It's just bigger.
I don't know this for sure, but I saw something on Twitter about part of the deal is because he's paying it all in basically money from shares. The Tesla stock price has to stay at a certain height in order for him to have the money to do it, supposedly.
I've heard that too.
And so a bunch of people have been trying to tank the Tesla price to stop it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how true that is or how much that'll impact it, but who knows?
That's welcome to free market.
Yeah. And then finally, just want to end on this. Tell us a little bit. You've done what, a week, 2 weeks with a new daughter? What is it been
Ava?
like?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
Congratulations again, by the way.
Thank you. Tomorrow is 2 weeks. She has to be 14 days. I was in the room when she was born, obviously, and everyone says this, right? They're like, oh, it's a feeling. It's the best feeling in the world. And I was so petrified that I won't have a feeling. Because then I'll judge myself and I'll just be like, because I don't know, I'm not a feeling kind of guy. Like I don't. And I was like, yeah, I mean, love. I understand love. I love a lot of things and people, and I love them dearly, and I would do anything for them. So how much more can you really love? And so here's the analogy I set up. The minute she was born, I don't really love her. She owns me. It's just different. Love is just understatement. It's just like an understanding. It's just like, yeah, of course I love her, but she actually owns me. Like this is my first day back to work today, and I've spent half a day, and I'm like pissed because I'm getting pictures, and I'm like, other people are spending time with her. Like that's not faring well with me in my head. And so of course I'll get over that. And I'm not saying, but I'm trying to explain to people like that love. And unless you feel it, like and it happened the minute I saw her. It took me years to fall in love with other people, but the minute I saw her, I was like, all right, I'm yours, whatever, right? So it's been amazing. She's such a sweet little girl, and she likes her milk. Fudge, dude. Oh my God, she rages. Like, so I actually had to ask some friends and I had to like call the doctor, and I was like, yo, something wrong with her? And they're
she's
like,
eating a lot.
No, that's not even how much she's eating. She gives you 7 seconds, dude. From the time that she's hungry, you have 7 seconds to put a bottle in her mouth, or she is raising hell.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so and you hate to see a little, like, it's
Yeah,
so
you
hard
don't
to see them cry, right? And so, of course, our doctor and like all my friends are like, just totally normal. Like, it's okay. I'm like, all right.
I bet doctors get those calls constantly.
Yes.
And they must hate people like you that'll be like, Doc,
sure.
it's been 7 minutes and she's freaking out. What do I do?
She's eating too much. They're like, just feed the child. I'm like, okay. No, it's such a cool thing, man. I'm learning a lot. I am so grateful that my in-laws are staying with us. I've had to do half night shifts for the last 2 nights because my wife and I are like trying to figure this out without the in-laws because they're not going to be there forever. I'm tired, man. And it's not her. This is the crazy thing. When you hear parents can't sleep, you automatically think it's the kid keeping them up. She doesn't keep me up. Last night, she slept like a baby and actually slept really well. But during the hours that are mine, first, I have a problem. It takes me a while to fall asleep. I'm not that guy that hits the bed and falls asleep. So if it takes me an hour to fall asleep and she's going to wake me up every 2 hours for a feed, we have a problem. I'm not going to sleep well. Then the other hour, you're disturbed sleeping because you know there is this,
And you're kind of like, she's not crying. Is she okay?
Yeah, exactly. Is the thing in her mouth? Can she breathe? Did she spit up?
Yeah.
So every 5 minutes, you're getting up to look. All my friends have also told me like that goes and with time, like you get used to it. But it's awesome, man. I don't know how to explain it and put it into words, except for I have a really good time with her. She's sweet. She listens. Like I'm already giving her life lessons. Everyone in my family laughs. They're like, seriously, but I'm like pulling her aside every night.
That's awesome.
Talking about, I was watching the All In podcast talking about corporate governance. And I was like, are you listening? Like,
I forgot to ask this question at the beginning, so I'm just going to close on this question. Has your vision, or your view is a better word, has your view of work and how you spend your time, I guess, changed since having a daughter?
No, because I think I was already in that evolution. If anything, I'm getting more avid about protecting my time. I've been on this thing that we haven't talked about, and it might be a fun thing to talk about in a future episode. Sure. I have this mission I'm working towards. I want to run my company from my cell phone only. I don't want to open a computer.
I saw you post about if someone could do it from a laptop.
No laptops, no
or
computers.
An iPad or something.
I don't even want an iPad because I don't like iPads.
Okay.
This is it. This is how I'm going to run my business. And it's been awesome. Do you want to know how you know you have the right team and a great team? Is if you can run your company from a phone. That's how you know you have the best team. So I've actually this whole week been running it from this. So I think with my daughter now, it's 5:30 right now. Like I register that it's 5:30. Like I was like in my head, I'm like I should have been home a half an hour ago. Like all of a sudden 5 o'clock is a thing, but it's not a thing because I want to be home by 5 so I can, not work past 5. It's because I know like she'll be most active between 5 and 8. And I want to spend that time with her.
Yeah.
But no, I was already kind of on this place of like making sure I'm empowering the team to lead and that I am not in the way. I'm not doing everything. I don't want to do everything. Where I've really woken up over the last year or two is like, there are so many things I don't enjoy doing. There are so many things I'm not good at doing. And now I have achieved, now I can say, I paid my dues. Now I can say, I don't want to do that.
Cool.
So I'm not going to do it.
Awesome.
And so lately I've been saying, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it.
Cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, that does it for me, unless there's anything else you want to say.
No. Listen, everyone, we're playing around and messing around with this structure. And so give us feedback. And we're going to post this. Will be our first episode we post on YouTube. And if you've got, I think eventually what we're going to do is build systems for you to be able to send questions to Joe.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
For us to be able to engage and interact live. And again, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I have in my head. When I get asked, I give better answers, I think. And don't get offended. If I said something you don't agree with, I still love the shit out of you. I mean it. Tell me otherwise. Open my mind.
Yeah.
Change my mind.
Discuss about what we talked about. Yeah. Comment. Say what you think he said was wrong.
Don't wish death upon me. Just
no death.
Give me your thoughts.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. This will go live Friday?
Friday.
Friday. Cool. So every Friday you can expect this live on YouTube. Is there anything else that we should close with, I guess?
No.
I think
when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back.
Push it the heck back. Peace.